If you like what we're doing, please consider subscribing. It's totally free and you can unsubscribe at any time, and it really helps us out a lot. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Neutral News. So, thanks for being here. Well, looks like we've got no internet still in Cuba, which you can basically throw a rock really hard and hit Cuba. So Joe Biden doesn't want to give Cuba internet. So I don't even know what to do anymore. These guys are facing a serious conundrum. It's like, how can you have people at the southern border of, southwestern border, I should say, no, because there's a difference, right? At the southwestern border, they pour across as long as they can survive the journey and the horrors that are involved with that. And then you got people coming, trying to boat it in, and they're like, wait, you cannot come into the United States illegally. We have laws and shit. Don't back off. Hey, get back in your boats and whatever. And even Governor DeSantis, you know, is sticking up for the Cuban people. It's funny because as fentanyl and drug trafficking and human trafficking and worse thrives and makes the worst criminals of the world rich, these regular people are trying to get out of Cuba just because there's no food on the shelf. There's no food on the shelf. I'm going to give you a couple of glances at that. It looks just like the COVID time, but all the time. So that's exactly what you see. There's just a few things there, and that's what you get.
He came over here, risked his life as well, because he didn't have the basic freedoms like we do, and we take it for granted. We take it for granted, and it scares me when you have people on the left here saying how perfect it is. How you have the Bernie Sanders and the AOCs trying to implement those stupid laws like they have in those countries. That's why we're here. You don't see Americans going to Cuba on a raft. You don't see that. You see the other way around. And anybody that believes their lies, I don't even know what to say. And I can't even believe that we're in a situation where we're so close to communism in this country. It's sad. It's really, really sad.
It is sad. It's sad. Listen up. We can't follow that road. What do we want? You know what they're facing? It's similar to what we're facing already. How close are we? What do we have in common with countries like that? You know, that there's chaos and crime, no food, corrupt police, censorship. The media is all propaganda. The elections are corrupt. The college and schools are corrupt. The ideology is just ridiculous. It's just nobody even agrees with it. You know, all their freedoms are lost. We're already on that road. Don't you see the similarities there? You don't think she knows what she's talking about? She's watching her people suffer. Over what? For what? So they can say communism works? It doesn't work. Bernie Sanders he was wrong. He said Cuba was great and Venezuela was great. They're nightmares. They're now a perfect example of why you do not listen to them. They have an infrastructure bill now that has little to do with infrastructure. It has to do with elections. Yeah, it has to do with changing the elections. And guys, there's nothing wrong with amnesty, but that should be in some kind of an amnesty bill too, not the infrastructure. Something tells me I need popcorn for this. Hold on. Okay, this is a rare CNN moment. I think they're going to regret having this guy on.
About all of the things in the infrastructure bill, they are really being led in many ways by the progressive wing of their party. And the progressive wing of the Democratic Party does not want to go hard against Cuba, against some of the things that the Castro regime may have been a part of, in part because there are some Democrats, there are some progressives who agree with some of those things. They agree with universal health care. They agree with some of the programs that were in place in a more socialist kind of society.
In 1959, Fidel Castro overthrows the U.S.-backed oppressive government of Fulgencio Batista in the Cuban Revolution, establishes himself as the new dictator, and installs a communist government forming an alliance with the Soviet Union. Because the United States controls much of the Cuban economy, Castro nationalizes all U.S. businesses with hopes of keeping wealth in Cuba. In response, the United States places an economic embargo against the island nation in 1962, essentially prohibiting U.S. companies from trading with Cuba. But it wasn't until 1996 that Congress made the embargo law.
So we were very, very enthusiastic about the possibilities of what the embargo could do at that time.
The economic embargo continues to be a controversial topic. Just last week, the UN General Assembly voted for the 29th time for the U.S. to end the embargo, but only Congress has the power to do that. Opponents say the embargo negatively impacts Cuban citizens because it prevents them from accessing necessities that could ease life there. While people who support the embargo argue it sends a stern message of disapproval to Havana. For many, life in Cuba is hard, and for decades, the United States has accepted Cuban dissidents with open arms. But with the U.S. no longer allowing Cubans who make it onto U.S. soil to stay in the country, it's forcing people who disagree with the oppressive government there to take to the streets.
So fake.
Welcome back to Fox and Friends. Well, Cuban Americans are rallying outside the White House to demand the administration take action to help the people of Cuba fighting for freedom against the communist regime.
Outside the White House.
Our next guest fled Cuba with his family when he was just 8 years old.
Well, listen, it is very true, and I will tell you that being born there, I will say that there was a lot of love, but that's about everything. There was a lack of everything else, and it is really daunting to think that to this day, 62 years later, I left about 22 years ago, and to think that things have just gotten worse to where now they can't even feed them or clothe them or give them water or electricity, which is why they're out on the street and they're saying, we need our freedom. No longer do we want the crumbs. We want liberty. We want it all. We want the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah, well, the Biden administration says they want COVID vaccines and other things, but you're saying
That
they
is
want liberty.
Misinformation.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, thanks for joining.
It's misinformation. It's disinformation.
Thank you for joining us. We wish you and the other people behind you all the best. Cuba Libre.
Thank you.
All right.
They want the American way. That's what he's trying to say, the American way. The American way is the only way. It's the way for the entire globe. It needs to take over the globe. It needs to sweep it like a virus and just completely take over the irrational thinking of these who want to be told what to do all the time. That's what the hell you're signing on for, you dumbasses. Think you're so smart going against like a certain party or a certain guy. They're trying to take everything and control everything. And once they have that control, how are we going to get it back? You never get it back. Our forefathers knew that, and that's why the Constitution is in place, and we can't just keep wiping our butt with it, you idiots. Okay, so will sanctions work? That's what Biden wants to do. Will sanctions work? Will he turn on the internet? These are the questions right now. Meanwhile, they got food shortages, they got med shortages, they got high prices, they got the largest protests in decades. They got no money because there's no tourism. Why? COVID. Ooh, that red flagged me right there. Oh well, screw them. So basically, in my mind, this is a huge communism fail. Okay, Bernie Sanders. Okay, it's a fail. You suck. You said Venezuela and Cuba, how great they were. That they are both the perfect examples of what not to do. And what do they have in common? Socialism, communism. Okay? And, no offense, Bernie, but even you couldn't have written this stupid infrastructure bill. Something that ranges from a $1.5 trillion to $5.5 trillion. And, that's going to collapse our economy. And what happens then? I think you want that to happen. And I think that's what this whole socialism mandate is going to be about, is destroying America once and for all. But we're not going to let that happen, right, guys? Listen, thanks a lot for being here. I appreciate it. You want to give me a thumbs up? I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching.